Hello everyone. A lot has happened in the world recently, and today we're diving deep into a topic that's constantly evolving: immigration to the United States. Are you aware that the profile of immigration into the United States is undergoing a rapid transformation? The narrative is no longer solely focused on individuals crossing borders. It's increasingly about the origins of these people and the compelling reasons driving their journeys. While Mexico remains a primary source, nations such as El Salvador, India, and Guatemala are rapidly increasing their numbers. Have you ever paused to consider the motivations behind the considerable number of individuals undertaking this significant move? Are they searching for enhanced prospects and a superior quality of life? Or are they perhaps fleeing circumstances far more challenging back home? The realities might genuinely astonish you. We'll explore the leading countries contributing to the flow of undocumented immigrants into the U.S., and the findings might challenge your preconceptions. Stick with us as we unpack the complex factors involved, and be sure to stay tuned until the end where we'll draw some important conclusions. Before we get started, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting that like button. It truly helps us grow and continue bringing you informative content like this. Also, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We love hearing from our global audience. Nigeria holds the 15th spot on this list. Nigeria, a dynamic nation positioned on Africa's western shoreline, is celebrated for its profound cultural legacy and remarkably diverse populace. It stands as the most populous nation on the African continent, providing a home to over 200 million inhabitants. Nevertheless, despite possessing ample natural resources, notably oil reserves, Nigeria contends with substantial difficulties, including political volatility, widespread corruption, and pronounced economic inequality. These persistent problems have compelled numerous Nigerians to look for improved opportunities internationally, with the United States being a significant destination. In recent times, there has been a noticeable increase in Nigerian immigrants arriving in the U.S., spurred by aspirations for better living standards, access to superior educational pathways, and the pursuit of reliable employment. The United States acknowledges the valuable input of Nigerian immigrants, who frequently contribute essential skills and enrich American society with their cultural diversity. However, the path is often fraught with challenges. Many encounter significant obstacles concerning immigration regulations and the complexities of assimilating into an unfamiliar culture. This journey demands resilience and adaptation in the face of bureaucratic hurdles and cultural adjustments. Moving to number 14, we find Peru. Peru, centrally located in the heart of South America, is renowned for its stunning natural vistas, ranging from the majestic Andes Mountains to the expansive Amazon rainforest. This nation boasts a rich tapestry of history, highlighted by ancient civilizations such as the Incas, who bequeathed iconic archaeological marvels like Machu Picchu. Despite its extraordinary natural allure and deep cultural heritage, Peru grapples with considerable economic disparities and periods of political turbulence. These underlying issues contribute significantly to the emigration of Peruvians, who aspire to find a more secure and prosperous existence, often looking towards the United States. A considerable number of Peruvian immigrants are attracted to the U.S. by the allure of greater economic possibilities and the opportunity to secure a brighter future for their loved ones. Over the years, the United States has witnessed a consistent arrival of Peruvian immigrants, many of whom successfully integrate into diverse communities nationwide, sharing their distinct cultural traditions and much-admired culinary contributions. Nevertheless, akin to numerous other immigrant communities, they encounter substantial challenges, particularly those pertaining to navigating legal status requirements and adapting to the nuances of a new societal environment. The process of settling in involves overcoming various hurdles while contributing to the multicultural fabric of American life. Please make sure to watch this video until the very end, as we will be sharing crucial conclusions based on our analysis. At number 13 is Colombia. Colombia, situated at the northernmost point of South America, is globally recognized for its premium coffee, lively culture, and exceptional biodiversity. In recent times, the nation has achieved notable progress in moving past its prolonged history of internal conflict and violence, although significant challenges persist. Enduring economic inequalities and ongoing security issues continue to motivate Colombians to pursue opportunities in other countries, prominently including the United States. Frequently, Colombian immigrants come to the U.S. harboring hopes of leaving behind violence and securing greater economic stability. The government of the United States has recognized the intricate situation within Colombia, occasionally extending temporary protected status to individuals escaping particularly severe conditions. Colombian immigrants significantly enrich the cultural landscape of the U.S., bringing with them a valuable heritage and a commendable work ethic. However, they too encounter considerable difficulties, such as mastering the complexities of the U.S. immigration system and overcoming language barriers, as they endeavor to establish new lives within American society. Their integration journey involves navigating these obstacles while adding to the diverse tapestry of the nation. Next, at number 12, we have the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic possesses an extensive history of its citizens emigrating to the United States, a trend largely fueled by persistent economic and political pressures. Historically, during the era of dictator Rafael Trujillo, leaving the country was notably difficult for Dominicans. However, following his assassination in 1961, the situation began to shift. The ensuing political instability and economic difficulties, compounded by the United States military intervention in 1965, prompted many urban professionals and members of the middle class to search for enhanced opportunities abroad. Bringing us to the present day, estimates suggest that approximately 3/4 of all Dominican migrants globally now reside in the United States. A significant portion of this diaspora has settled in New York City, with neighborhoods like Washington Heights becoming prominent Dominican enclaves. According to recent data, around 164,000 Dominicans residing in the U.S. were classified as unauthorized immigrants, constituting roughly 1% of the total unauthorized population in the country. Despite this figure, Dominican immigrants exhibit higher rates of enrollment in public insurance programs compared to other foreign-born populations. This might offer insight into why only 13% were reported as uninsured in the year 2022, indicating a notable level of access to or utilization of available public health resources. Number 11 on our list is Vietnam. The story of Vietnamese immigration to the United States is deeply intertwined with the aftermath of the Vietnam War. The fall of Saigon on April 30, 1975, triggered a substantial exodus of Vietnamese individuals seeking sanctuary from the newly established communist government. Initially, the majority arrived as refugees escaping political persecution and instability. However, the nature of this migration has evolved significantly over time. Presently, approximately 87% of new Vietnamese individuals obtaining lawful permanent residency in the U.S. do so via family reunification programs. This change highlights a broader pattern within the Vietnamese immigrant community, which now includes a higher proportion of naturalized U.S. citizens, many of whom have resided in the country for extended periods. An interesting aspect is that while Vietnamese immigrants might, on average, report lower educational attainment and English language skills compared to some other groups, they tend to achieve higher median household incomes than both the general immigrant population and the native U.S.-born population. Regarding undocumented immigration, estimates from 2021 indicated that around 76,000 Vietnamese were living in the U.S. without legal authorization, representing a relatively small percentage of the overall undocumented population. In terms of health coverage, Vietnamese immigrants generally show positive outcomes, with only 7% reported as lacking health insurance in 2022. This rate is considerably lower than the 18% average observed across all immigrant groups in the U.S. during the same period. Ranking 10th is Cuba. Cuban migration to the United States presents a complex narrative driven by both economic hardship and political factors. The relationship between Cuba and the U.S. has been characterized by tension since the early 19th century. Historical records even show the U.S. attempting to purchase the island from Spain during the mid-1800s. Following the Treaty of Paris in 1898, the United States effectively gained control over Cuba. Throughout the subsequent decades, strained relations, first with Spain and later with the communist regime established after the revolution, compelled many Cubans to seek refuge in the United States. Today, individuals of Cuban descent constitute one of the most significant Caribbean immigrant communities within the U.S., with a large concentration notably established in the Miami metropolitan area. Programs such as the Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, Venezuelan, CHNV parole process have played a role in enabling the lawful arrival of over 530,000 individuals from these four nations into the U.S. This initiative offers a regulated channel for entry, potentially diverting migrants from perilous overland journeys through the U.S.-Mexico border region. Although Cuban immigrants have historically encountered distinct obstacles and challenges upon arrival and during integration, they persistently represent a crucial element in the diverse fabric of United States immigration history and contemporary society. At number 9, we explore Ecuador. Ecuadorians have been journeying to the United States for a considerable period, propelled by a confluence of factors. Primarily, economic distress serves as a significant impetus. Numerous families originating from rural regions, such as El Cantón Cañar, contend with persistent poverty, insufficient land resources, and experiences of discrimination, particularly affecting indigenous populations. The land in these areas is frequently subdivided into parcels inadequate for sustaining a family, thereby limiting prospects for achieving a reasonable standard of living. This reality compels individuals to seek more favorable opportunities elsewhere, often identifying the United States as a principal destination. The situation has notably intensified in recent years. Since 2021, estimates suggest that over 430,000 Ecuadorians have departed their homeland, driven by rising levels of violence and mounting economic pressures. The prevailing crisis within Ecuador, characterized by escalating violence and widespread insecurity, carries substantial implications for migration patterns. Individuals are now fleeing not only in pursuit of economic betterment, but also to escape the escalating instability and pervasive danger within their country. However, the journey to the United States presents its own set of formidable challenges. Many Ecuadorians depend on intermediaries, colloquially known as coyotes, or resort to document forgers to undertake the clandestine transit. Upon arrival in the U.S., a common settlement pattern involves congregating in areas like New York City, which harbors a substantial Ecuadorian community. Data from 2021 indicated the presence of over 481,000 Ecuadorians residing in the United States, with a pronounced concentration within the New York metropolitan area. This diaspora encompasses both individuals born in Ecuador and those identifying with Ecuadorian heritage born in the U.S. Number 8 brings us to Brazil. Immigration from Brazil to the United States gained significant momentum during the 1980s, predominantly triggered by severe economic instability within Brazil at that time. The classification economic refugees accurately portrays many of these early immigrants, who were primarily seeking higher earning potential and a more affordable cost of living attainable in the United States. Brazil struggled intensely with hyperinflation up until 1994, rendering daily life exceptionally challenging for its populace. This profound economic instability acted as a strong catalyst, pushing numerous Brazilians to explore opportunities in foreign lands perceived as offering greater prosperity. Looking at the present day, the fundamental narrative driving this migration persists. Recurring economic crises continue to motivate Brazilians to consider the United States as a destination. Indeed, many Brazilians embark on this journey with the understanding that they can potentially earn up to 4 times the income for comparable work compared to what is available in Brazil. This significant financial incentive serves as a potent draw for individuals aiming to enhance their overall quality of life. Once established in the U.S., Brazilian immigrants commonly gravitate towards states such as Florida, California, Massachusetts, New York, and New Jersey. Florida, notably, has emerged as a major hub for the Brazilian community. Recent estimations indicate that these 5 states collectively house 63% of all Brazilians residing in the United States. The presence of vibrant Brazilian cultural expressions and established communities in these regions fosters a sense of belonging and provides crucial support networks for newcomers adapting to life in a new national context. At number 7, we examine the Philippines. The Philippines shares a protracted history of migration to the United States, originating in the late 19th century. This migration flow was initially spurred by the period of U.S. colonization of the Philippines, which forged deep-seated political, military, and educational links between the two countries. In contemporary times, Filipinos constitute one of the most substantial immigrant populations in the U.S. The 2020 census recorded approximately 4.4 million Filipino Americans. However, not all members of this community reside in the U.S. with legal status. As of 2022, estimates placed the number of undocumented Filipino immigrants at around 350,000. This figure ranks them as the fifth largest group of undocumented immigrants, following those from Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. The motivations for Filipino migration to the U.S., even potentially without proper documentation, are varied. Significant push factors within the Philippines include constraints on educational pathways, limitations in access to adequate medical facilities, and elevated crime rates, all contributing to the desire for a better life abroad. Conversely, the United States presents pull factors such as more extensive educational and healthcare infrastructures, coupled with the promise of a higher standard of living. Historically, employment opportunities, particularly within the agriculture and healthcare sectors, have also attracted many Filipinos. Over decades, demand for labor, initially on Hawaiian plantations and later in Californian agriculture, drew thousands of Filipino workers, often referred to as cicadas, who filled roles previously occupied by Japanese laborers. Despite these opportunities, Filipino immigrants have historically encountered significant challenges in the U.S., including prejudice similar to that experienced by other Asian immigrant groups like the Japanese and Chinese. At times, specific legislation, such as laws prohibiting interracial marriage, directly targeted them. Notwithstanding these obstacles, Filipinos have made profound contributions to American society, playing notable roles in the labor movement and serving as veterans in World War II. Today, they remain an integral component of the diverse U.S. immigrant population, navigating the intricacies of immigration policies while preserving strong cultural connections to their homeland. Number 6 is China. Let us now consider China, another significant origin country for immigrants arriving in the United States. By 2023, immigrants from China represented a considerable segment of the total U.S. immigrant population, ranking just behind those from Mexico and India. The drivers behind this migration are complex, stemming from both historical precedents and current conditions. Historically, Chinese immigration to the U.S. dates back to the mid-1800s, initially fueled by events like the California Gold Rush and subsequently sustained by employment opportunities in sectors such as railroad construction and agriculture. However, this early wave of immigrants encountered severe discrimination, most infamously codified in the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, the first major U.S. law to restrict immigration based explicitly on nationality. In the modern era, the migration of Chinese nationals to the U.S. persists, influenced by a combination of factors pushing them from China and pulling them towards the U.S. While China's remarkable economic expansion has dramatically reduced poverty for millions, it has concurrently generated substantial social and economic inequalities. Domestic concerns such as environmental pollution, restrictions on personal liberties, and an intensely competitive job market motivate many individuals to seek opportunities internationally. The United States, with its established reputation for freedom, innovation, and high standards of education, naturally attracts numerous Chinese citizens. Notably, Chinese students constitute a large proportion of the international student body in American universities, and a significant number opt to remain in the U.S. after completing their academic programs. Nevertheless, the immigration process is not without its difficulties. Chinese immigrants, similar to many others, must navigate the often convoluted U.S. immigration legal system. Furthermore, recent geopolitical tensions between the United States and China have introduced additional complexities, impacting various aspects of interaction, from international trade relations to the issuance of visas. Despite these ongoing challenges, Chinese immigrants consistently make substantial contributions to American society, enriching it with their deep cultural heritage and a pronounced entrepreneurial drive. Their influence is evident across diverse fields, including technology, academia, and business, affirming their status as an essential part of the multifaceted American social fabric. Coming in at number 5 is Honduras. Honduras, a nation situated in Central America, has witnessed a significant outflow of its citizens migrating to the United States over many years. In the year 2022, it was estimated that approximately 525,000 unauthorized immigrants from Honduras were residing within the U.S. This substantial migration is propelled by a range of interconnected factors, with poverty, pervasive violence, and the impact of natural disasters being among the most prominent drivers. The country has long struggled with issues of political corruption and governmental instability, which have served only to worsen these underlying problems. Devastating hurricanes and other extreme weather phenomena have repeatedly ravaged communities, displacing numerous individuals and destroying livelihoods. The economic and social repercussions of the COVID-19 pandemic further strained an already vulnerable economy, compelling even more people to seek improved prospects abroad. The journey undertaken from Honduras to reach the United States is inherently difficult and fraught with peril. Migrants frequently confront numerous hardships along the way, including hazardous travel conditions through challenging terrains and the constant threat of exploitation by human smugglers who capitalize on their vulnerability. Despite these considerable risks, many Hondurans perceive that they have limited alternatives but to embark on this journey in pursuit of greater safety and economic stability. The United States government has acknowledged the pressing need to establish legal avenues for migration from the region, yet formulating effective and sustainable solutions continues to be a complex and ongoing challenge. Initiatives such as the Central American Minors (KM) program represent efforts to offer safer, regulated channels, particularly for children seeking to reunite with family members already in the U.S., although these programs themselves are subject to ongoing development and refinement. Demographically, the Honduran immigrant population in the United States is varied, with its members contributing significantly across different sectors of the American economy. They bring with them vibrant cultural traditions and a strong ethos of community, evident in the numerous distinct Honduran neighborhoods established throughout the country. Nonetheless, the arduous journey and the persistent challenges encountered by these immigrants underscore the critical need for comprehensive immigration reform, policies that address not only the immediate realities faced by migrants, but also the fundamental root causes driving migration from their home countries. At number 4, we find Guatemala. Let's delve into Guatemala, another Central American nation characterized by a substantial migration of its citizens to the United States. As of 2020, approximately 1.3 million individuals of Guatemalan origin were living in the U.S., with estimates suggesting that over half of this population resided without legal authorization. The motivations behind this significant migration flow are complex and varied. Key drivers include widespread poverty, issues of hunger and food insecurity, and a stark lack of sufficient job opportunities within Guatemala. The nation ranks among the poorest in Latin America and struggles with high levels of food insecurity, conditions which disproportionately affect certain regions. The Western Highlands, for instance, is an area particularly marked by extreme poverty and severely limited access to fundamental services like healthcare and education. Compounding these economic hardships are factors such as agricultural stress, often exacerbated by environmental issues, pervasive violence including gang activity and political instability, and the growing impacts of climate change, all of which further propel migration from Guatemala. For many young Guatemalans, emigration is perceived as the only realistic pathway toward achieving a better future and escaping challenging circumstances. Remittances, money sent back home by migrants working abroad, play an indispensable role in sustaining the Guatemalan economy. The value of these remittances often exceeds both government revenue and the total value of the country's exports, highlighting a profound economic dependency on migration as a crucial lifeline for countless families. Efforts are underway to better manage migration from Guatemala. These include exploring options for temporary legal work programs abroad, which could potentially satisfy labor demands in destination countries like the U.S., while enabling migrants to maintain ties with their home communities and contribute financially. However, the inherent complexity of these migration dynamics intertwined with the deep-seated issues driving people to leave Guatemala, necessitates comprehensive and coordinated strategies involving the United States, Mexico, and Canada to develop truly sustainable and humane solutions. The experiences of Guatemalan migrants are narratives of remarkable resilience and enduring hope, yet they simultaneously underscore the urgent requirement for policies that can offer viable, dignified alternatives to the perilous path of unauthorized migration. Number 3 on the list is India. India, a nation possessing a rich historical tapestry and immense cultural diversity, is also a country from which many individuals emigrate due to various challenges pushing them to seek opportunities elsewhere. A primary driver for Indians migrating to the United States is the pursuit of economic advancement. Despite India's status as one of the world's most rapidly expanding major economies, it continues to grapple with significant issues such as high rates of unemployment and constrained job prospects for its vast and growing population. Consequently, many Indians, particularly those from more affluent states like Punjab and Gujarat, view the United States as a land offering superior opportunities, where they anticipate finding better compensated employment and achieving an overall higher quality of life. Indeed, data from 2022 estimated that approximately 725,000 undocumented immigrants from India were residing in the U.S., positioning them as the third largest undocumented group, following those from Mexico and El Salvador. Another significant factor propelling Indian migration is the strong desire for access to higher educational opportunities. The United States boasts numerous world-renowned universities, making it an aspirational destination for countless Indian students seeking advanced education. However, obtaining a student visa can be a competitive and challenging process, which leads some individuals to explore alternative, sometimes irregular, means of entering the country. This has contributed to an observed increase in illegal border crossings, with a notable number of Indians attempting entry via the U.S.-Mexico border, and even through the comparatively less monitored U.S.-Canada border. It is important to recognize that these journeys are often fraught with danger and significant financial cost, frequently compelling migrants to liquidate assets or incur substantial debt to finance their passage. Lastly, the influence of social networks and the goal of family reunification are considerable factors in Indian migration patterns. A large number of Indians have relatives who have previously settled in the United States, and the powerful draw of joining family members serves as a strong impetus for migration. This pre-existing sense of community and the availability of support networks can significantly ease the transition process into a new country, making the prospect of migration more attractive and feasible. Furthermore, there exists a degree of social prestige associated with having family members successfully established in the U.S., which further enhances the appeal of undertaking the journey. Number 2 is El Salvador. Let us now turn our attention to El Salvador, a relatively small Central American nation that nonetheless holds a significant position within the landscape of U.S. immigration. A principal catalyst for Salvadorans choosing to migrate to the United States is the urgent need to escape pervasive violence and deep-seated political instability. For many years, El Salvador has been severely affected by intense gang violence, with notorious groups such as MS-13 and Barrio 18 exerting considerable influence and perpetrating widespread criminal activity within numerous communities. This environment of violence has rendered everyday existence precarious and dangerous for a large segment of the Salvadoran population, thereby motivating them to seek refuge, safety, and stability within the United States. Economic considerations are also a powerful driving force behind Salvadoran migration. El Salvador continues to be ranked among the poorer nations in Latin America, characterized by restricted employment opportunities and generally low wage levels. As a result, many Salvadorans perceive the United States as a place where they can secure better-paying jobs, enabling them to send vital financial remittances back to their families in El Salvador. These remittances constitute a crucial pillar of the Salvadoran national economy, representing a substantial percentage of the country's gross domestic product, GDP, and providing essential support for countless households. Furthermore, the significance of family connections and the objective of reunification represent another key aspect motivating migration from El Salvador. A considerable number of Salvadorans possess family members who have already successfully immigrated to and settled in the United States. The profound desire to reunite with these loved ones acts as a potent incentive for others to undertake the migration journey themselves. Historically, the United States has served as a primary and popular destination for Salvadoran migrants, a pattern that remains prominent in the present day. Recent data confirms that Salvadorans continue to constitute a significant proportion of the undocumented immigrant population residing in the U.S., underscoring the enduring and complex migratory link that exists between the two nations, shaped by decades of intertwined social, economic, and political factors. Finally, at number 1, we have Mexico. Let's address Mexico initially. Being geographically adjacent to the United States, Mexico has, for an extended period, represented the most significant source country for immigrants entering America. As recorded in 2023, the number of individuals residing in the U.S. who were born in Mexico stood at approximately 10.9 million, a truly substantial figure. However, it is pertinent to note an evolving trend. The overall number of Mexican immigrants has demonstrated a decline since the year 2010. In that year, they constituted 29% of the total immigrant population in the U.S., whereas by 2023, this proportion had decreased to 23%. What factors contribute to this dynamic? Several reasons underpin the migration of people from Mexico to the United States. A major driver is the pursuit of economic opportunity. Within Mexico, certain segments of the population face challenges in securing well-paying employment or earning sufficient income to adequately provide for their families. The United States presents a broader spectrum of job possibilities, particularly within sectors like agriculture and construction, which traditionally employ a large number of Mexican immigrants. Another significant factor is the objective of family reunification. Numerous individuals migrate with the intention of joining family members who have previously established residence in the United States. Beyond employment and familial ties, concerns regarding personal safety also motivate some individuals to leave Mexico. Specific regions within Mexico experience high levels of violence and criminal activity, frequently associated with the operations of drug cartels. This environment poses considerable risks and difficulties for many residents, prompting them to seek a more secure setting in the U.S. Despite these compelling push and pull factors, it's noteworthy that the share of unauthorized immigrants originating from Mexico has been diminishing. In 2022, individuals from Mexico accounted for only 37% of the total illegal immigrant population in the U.S., representing the lowest percentage recorded to date for this group. If you found this exploration insightful, please show your support by leaving a comment below. We appreciate hearing your thoughts. Also, ensure you turn on notifications so you don't miss our future uploads. We look forward to seeing you in our next video. Goodbye.